So today I had the opportunity to see one of three screenings. The first one was Chips. No, garbage. The second one was Power Rangers. Now I was a little too old when Power Rangers hit back in the early 90s. So admittedly, I'm not a big fan, but as that movie looked kind of fun, I wouldn't have mind actually seeing it. And of course, the third one was a kind of a hybrid of a horror and sci-fi fiction movie. Two of my most favorite flavors. You put them together, a great meal. I couldn't pass that up. And with that, I'm welcome you to another episode of The Romantic, where my goal, as always, is to enhance your movie watching experience. So Life, this movie I was kind of curious about, besides the fact that I'm a huge fan of sci-fi and horror. The trailers gave us this vibe, very reminiscent of Alien, which is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. Great cast, Jake Gyllenhaal's in this one, Roberta Ferguson coming off Rogue Nation, and of course Deadpool himself. How can you fail with Deadpool? Ryan Reynolds as well. And it's pretty much what it was in terms of the premise of the movie. It's very reminiscent of Alien, borrowed a lot, not just from Alien, from a lot of science fiction movies out there. But this one, we have a group of 6 astronauts or explorers, I guess. They don't really get into why they're in outer space. It seems that they're coming back from Mars, I guess. I don't know. They encounter this new life form, the first life form discovered outside Earth itself. They begin to study it. About a month goes by. You know, it's kind of cutesy and it kind of looks like this, but eventually it evolves and becomes something much more dangerous. Of course, things go awry, and the alien, of course, why shouldn't it, starts attacking everybody on board. Let me first start off by saying what I kind of liked about this movie. The cast, of course, which I mentioned earlier, Gyllenhaal and particularly Ferguson do really well here. They're not given a lot to do per se. These aren't great, interesting characters. This movie kind of focuses on the alien. I'll get to that in a moment. But they're fine for what they do, and then you buy what they're going through. And the movie looks good. You know, special effects are really well done. Some really cool shots in here. And of course, really the biggest prize, the seller here, is the alien itself. Really cool design. I liked everything about the alien, how it came to evolve, how it feeds, how it thinks. It's very intelligent. And very, very dangerous, of course. And I like that aspect of it. On the horror side, good moments of tension. You know, there's some good, decent, I guess, horror-esque elements to it, but just not enough of them. I wish it would have had, like something like Aliens does have. Not to compare that to this, because this movie is not Alien by any stretch of the imagination. But ultimately, I feel this movie is just very middle of the road. It's paint by numbers. It's very typical from what you get from these kind of movies. And from a sci-fi standpoint, it doesn't really offer anything new. It doesn't bring anything new to the table, anything thought-provoking. From a horror genre, again, very few and far in between as far as the scares are concerned. And it's not very memorable. The story itself, it's very simple, which is fine. Doesn't need to be anything elaborate. You know, obviously the aliens just going around trying to kill everybody, and they're trying to protect themselves and ensure this creature doesn't end up on planet Earth. But again, it's just not fully interesting. I haven't invested in the characters or the story itself, besides the alien looking great. There's not much here, not much in terms of surprises. It's very predictable. It flows exactly how you feel this movie is going to flow. I don't want to spoil anything. Particularly the end, which I thought was so predictable. When it started coming about, I figured this is exactly the way it's going to end, which I didn't quite like. It kind of took me out of it towards the end. I was kind of more on the positive side of this movie, but ultimately it kind of falls flat. There's really nothing. It's a movie you watch, you're probably going to get some enjoyment out of it. By the time you get to the car, you forget what you actually saw. Now, ultimately, is this a bad movie? No, it's not. But it's not a great movie. It's not. In this month, we have so much being released, even a couple of things coming out next week. It's just other bigger and better movies to go out and watch. There's one, if you're a sci-fi fan, I recommend you catch. But more at home, Netflix, Amazon, something like that. I wouldn't exactly recommend you spending your $12, $15, depends where you live, to go catch this movie. It's just not that exciting. It's like I said, it's very average, very middle of the road. If you're a huge fan of the genre, you could do worse by checking it out. But I do suggest you kind of watch this at home, which is kind of a shame, because this movie had a lot of potential and I just didn't live up to that. Ultimately, I kind of wished I would have checked out Power Rangers. I never thought I would say that. So, Life, you guys want to check it out? You guys enjoy it? Let me know. Comment below as always. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.